Hello, lovely to see you all again. Today we're having some German songs to talk about. There are a lot of them, I believe 29 if I've counted correctly here. We also have 7 categories where I will try and place these 29 songs into whatever category I think fit them best. And I think everyone already understands how this works. If you watched my channel before, if you watched any of these videos, you understand exactly how this works. And I'm just going to start right away. Germany is on the table today, and in 1993, they had a song called, well, something. I remember the line "Viel zu weit," um, and that's really all there is to it that I really do remember. It's very slow moving. I do like the lighting, but I'm not sure if that's more due to the stage layout in 1993 than it is the song and its performance. It's quite a pretty little old-fashioned ballad, but it doesn't really do that much for me. So I think this is one it's just not for me. It's too slow, it's too uninteresting, it doesn't really offer a lot of instrumental variation either. So I just really can't get on board with this one, and I find it quite underwhelming in all honesty. So not a good start for Germany here on my personal tier list. But things will get better because in 1994 they had Wir, what's the song called? Wir geben a party or something like that. It's really upbeat. It's really catchy. It's really fun. I really like them on stage as well. A lot of charisma, a lot of just energy, and kind of a little bit of attitude as well. I think they're really enjoyable. Uh, just a great joy to really watch this performance, I think. And the song is really just manages to make me happy in a way. German, maybe not always the most pretty language to listen to in terms of either music or spoken, but here it just has so much charm and so much character to it. And I think the song is really upbeat and just a lot of fun. And as I said, they are really fun as well. I think this is a really great entry. Not really much more to say on that one, to be honest. I just think everything's really great, really enjoyable, and they got a good result from it as well, which is really nice. So yeah, that's 93, no, 94. And in 95, we're back down with the Not For Me. I don't get this song at all. 95 it's so weird because it's such a good year for Eurovision, but I think Germany is really one of the standout that really didn't get the memo in 1995 because this one is a bit all over the place, has a pretty um, well grating hook. I think I don't particularly enjoy listening to it. The song is kind of odd in its progression. It doesn't really have a very engaging mood to it. I think I just don't find a lot of enjoyment or any enjoyment in it all whatsoever. To be honest, there's really nothing to it that I do like. So I'll continue and be harsh there. To be honest, but yeah, this one is simply not for me. In 1997, because they missed out in 96, we have a song called Zeit, which I think is quite a strong ballad. It has a good backing track to it. I think there's a lot of power in the instrumental, and I like the vocal performance as well. It's very vocal central throughout the song, which I quite like. I think it's a very personal. It becomes quite personal, while also being that the vocal has a lot of character and the vocal is always very focused. I think this one is solid. I don't think it's much more than that because there are just ballads that interest me way more than this one manages to do. But I still think it's a solid effort altogether and enjoyable for the 3 minutes that it goes on. And then I'll listen to something else after it, which I probably might enjoy more. So yeah, that's a solid one. 98 is a full case of what happened here with Gildo Hat euch lieb, but it's also really, really charming. But I think maybe this is on the Alf Poyer kind of spectrum of just absurdness because he's running around in the audience and then starts climbing on the structures around the stage. It's absurd. It's a what happened here. But like with Alf Poyer, I think this one is, it's really charming. I do like it. It's not that I put it down here because I don't like it, because I do really think that this is quite funny. It's charming. It's entertaining. It's like you can't look away for the 3 minutes that he's on stage because you just don't know what he's gonna do next. But it's still just what happened here. Yeah, I'll place it down there, but I definitely enjoy watching and listening to this more than I do the two songs above it. 1999, Reise nach Jerusalem. One of the standouts, I think, from 1999. There aren't a lot of them, but I think this one definitely is one of them. Really just a very memorable melody, which really sticks into my head. I like the instrumental behind it and how they layer the instrumental melodies with the main vocal melodies. Um, I think actually I'm gonna place it in Fantastic. I think this one is just really a great standout in 1999. Well staged with how they line up on the stage. It really fits with this sun behind them. I mean, it's the concept of this kind of sun that was behind the stage in '99 is quite odd, but I think in this song they really made it work. And I also just really like the choreography and how they perform everything along with this really memorable melody, which I really just like. So I'll put it in Fantastic. This might be the song from '99 that I get the most enjoyment out of listening of. Just straight enjoyment. It's not my favorite song from '99, but I enjoy listening to it a lot, in all honesty. I think it's also one of these that just progresses so nicely within its own little within its own little setting that it has established. Then we have Vade Hade Dude Da in 2000. This is another case of could have been a what happened here, but this feels more complete and more with a purpose. It's just done with a lot of charm and a lot of like it's a silly approach, but it's at the same time really funny, I think, and it's just one of these cases where it's still quite professionally put together. It's just not some wacko running around the stage being an oddball. I think this has a purpose in another sense, I guess. I think this is really great. I get a lot of enjoyment out of watching this and listening to it. I think it's a catchy hook. I think the backing track is really great with how funky it is and how they incorporate the horns. Bass walks are quite good. Nice backing vocals. I just think the whole package here and how it's delivered is fantastic. Or maybe not fantastic, like in that sense, but really, really great. I really do think so. And then we have Wir Liebe lebt from 2001. Quite a nice ballad. Has a really great punch to it, I think. Vocally, it's a bit like almost screechy or whiny at times, but it still somehow manages to work within the soundstage, I think. I think the vocals are kind of on the borderline, which drags it down a little bit for me. I would have liked them to sound more convincing and more fleshed out to really just kind of eliminate this a bit of a whiny sound that I think she has when it's the high notes in the chorus. But well structured, a nice flowing ballad. It's very pretty. I'll put it in solid, but it's closer to really great than what Sight is, I think personally. It's actually really close to this category, I think. I just want those kind of a little bit of a whiny notes to just disappear. 2002, it's just a lot of ups and downs with Germany, isn't it? I Can't Live Without Music. This goes on forever. It's so uninteresting. It's really not for me. Yeah, it just doesn't work. It's quite obnoxious backing vocals. The hook is monotonous. There's really no performance to it, like on stage. Of course, it's kind of difficult because of her handicap, but there's still nothing going on here. So now, no, this is not for me. I don't like the song at all, in all honesty. And I don't like the song that comes after it either, Let's Get Happy. I don't get happy listening to this, not at all. I get annoyed and I get frustrated and I just want to turn it off. It's not like there's a purpose here. It's quite well put together and it's like they've done what they wanted to do. It's just that I'm not the audience for it. I don't like looking or listening to what they've done. And that's just a mismatch between me as an audience and them as a performer and songwriter and producer and everything. Just don't like it. I don't think I need to expand on why I don't like it. It just doesn't work for me. It's a bit too bouncy and I think it's quite annoying in all honesty, and especially the chorus and how it flows between segments as well. There are sections in the song that I can't really manage them. Luckily for me, I'm one of these people who are really into this kind of music that comes up next. In 2004, Can't Wait Until Tonight, I think it's called. This is fantastic for me. I love the stage layout. I love how personal and intimate it is. It feels very restrained in a very, very good way. I like this whole mellow setting. The backing track has a really nice instrumental to it. I like how they play around with different instruments, and the vocal is super characteristic throughout. I really think that it's just done so right, and the vocal performance is also so strong that you just kind of latch onto every word being sung and how the vocal also progresses and evolves throughout the song in both velocity or dynamic or lyrical content. You know, it's just a whole package of everything here. I think just fantastic. Love seeing it on stage as well. I think it's perfectly staged. 2005 is not for me. Wow, Germany, you're racking these up. Quite a like. I'm not really particularly fond of the vocal performance here. I think that's the main setback. The backing track is very synth inspired while also being quite rock inspired, and I like that combination normally, but I think it's not really done to the extent that I want it to do. It's not hard hitting enough. It's not driving enough. I would have really liked just a greater execution of it. And just, I think the vocals is really what just makes this completely not my thing at all. I could have liked some ideas in it, but I think the whole performance of it makes it fall really flat on me. So no, that's also a not for me. They're really packing these up. 2006, No No Never. This is charming. I think it's quite cute. It's quite enjoyable. Solid instrumentation behind it. You know, it's very, just typical for its genre, but we're not really exposed to a lot of this genre in Eurovision, so it's charming when it comes around. I think it's solid. It's a cute little performance. It's charming. It's done with the right intention, and they do what they set out to do, and not much more than that, and not much less either. So, and it's quite a nice hook as well. I think the melody in it is quite strong. It's a nice intonation to it, and also a very nice rhythm, I think, mainly. So yeah, we'll put that one in solid. And in 2007, I think this is a really great one. Yeah, this is a long title. It's like Frauen regen die Welt or something like that. Yeah, something about women rule the world, I think. I like jazz. I like big band music, so it's just easy to kind of make me like this. But I think it's executed so well. It's very interestingly written musically. I think there's a lot of playfulness with the different instruments, how they work together, as usually is within this genre of music. And I think the vocal performance is really like the main selling point. He's very comfortable and does everything with a lot of charisma and character on stage as well. It's just a really fun performance to watch. You get dragged into it. I get invested into it. Just really enjoyable. I really do think so. And have a well-written song on top of it all just seals the deal for me. Really great one in 2007. Not so great one in 2008. This is not for me. Again, quite poor vocal performance. I think like some of them are good and some of them are less good. And then when everyone goes together, it's like a bit clashy, I think. Just doesn't work for me. The song is quite uninteresting to me as well. I'm not particularly fond of the beat behind them. I'm not particularly fond of the sound design or the instrumentation, nor the production quality of it. I just don't really think anything works. It's ambitious how they've staged and performed it, I think, but it's firstly just not my genre, and secondly, I don't really like the whole packaging of it either. Mainly, I think sound-wise. Visually, I can get behind the performance, but everything I hear, I'm not very fond of. So that's where we put that one. In 2009, we have Miss Kiss Kiss Bang. This is I don't really know what to think of this one because I do think it's quite catchy and it's really upbeat and fun, I think. I really do think so. But at the same time, I kind of don't really give it a lot of attention when it's actually on. I'm not just completely hooked by it, which is kind of weird because that's what they really set out to do. But it just doesn't really go all the way with me. I still think it's solid. It's entertaining enough, and it does what it wants to do for the 3 minutes. I just don't really have an easy way to really latch onto it. Personally, I still think that the main hook of the song is quite strong. Maybe structurally it's a bit flawed, I think. There's like this constant backing down when the verses come back on. There's not really a flow to it or a constant, um, like a constant rhythm really backing up the energy that they want to provide in this song. I think that could be one of the setbacks, in all honesty. Maybe the verses are a bit uninteresting as well, I think. They haven't really managed to grab me, at least. So I'll put it in solid. 2010 Satellite, I think this is a really great entry. Of course it won, and you can have your varied opinions regarding that, but I mean, I'm not backing it up, but I can see like aspects of why it won. But I'm not gonna like get hung up on that. I think it's just a charming song, great performance, very well sung, and the song is really just this bouncy and upbeat pop that you just kind of you get happy listening to it, or at least I do. I think it's really charming in that sense. The accent does a lot for it as well. I think it's quite off-putting personally, but at the same time, I kind of also find some charm in it. Um, and I mean, it does make the song stand out a bit more than it otherwise would have done. But I think the main selling point is probably the performance and just how harmless and upbeat the song is. In all honesty, and a memorable hook to it as well. And I also think the energy is done quite well here. There's a constant rhythm really just bouncing along throughout the song, which is quite nice. There's never really a dull moment throughout the song, which is really nice. From the very first second it starts, it really just has the energy and keeps going until the end, which I really like. However, I do prefer the effort the year after. This is a fantastic effort, I think. Very suggestive, very dark in the ambiance, a mysterious setting, great tone in the instrumental here. Taken by a Stranger is just one of these songs that really transforms you into, or like transports you into this little world that they have. It's very dim lit. The atmosphere is really being established as this dark setting, and with the lyrical kind of storytelling part of the song as well, it just kind of works all together. And I do think the absolutely best part of the song is towards the end, between the final choruses, where it does the variation in melody, really, which leads into the final chorus. It's just one of these segments that really break up the song and gives it a different kind of life at this very special part of the song, and then goes back into the mysterious kind of atmosphere. I do really like that segment, and I also like the way they've staged it with the lighting and everything. I think it's a very well performed song, and I do also think the song has a great tone to it. I really do think so. So that's a fantastic one for me. Standing Still is a really great one. I don't think you can really say that there are any flaws with this song. It could only just be that maybe it's not your type of music, because for what it wants to be, it does everything just the right way. I really do think so. Incredibly well performed, with a lot of charm and just inviting an inviting atmosphere to it. But I also think the song is very well written for what it wants to be. It's very, kind of the Fray-like in that sense, a bit Snow Patrol, I guess. Just that kind of music, which I personally find really pleasant. I really do like listening to it, and I think they've done everything, just executed it perfectly in this type of music, with how all of the instruments sound, and especially how they sound collectively. I think that's the main selling point here. Well staged, well, like with the lighting and with the layout as well, an inviting performer as well. It's just the full package of greatness. I really do think so. Really great one. I enjoy it a lot when I see it. I don't set out to listen to it too often, but whenever I do, I really just enjoy it. Glorious by Cascada. This is upbeat. This is fun. I just never seem to return to this one, though. I think it's solid, but not much more. I get the energy from it. I think that it's upbeat, but it doesn't really have the same kind of memorable hook that maybe it really wants to have. For me personally, I just don't really latch onto it that much. It's a bit maybe too draggy in the vocal melody. Could have benefited from some more intonation and more like a more rhythmically engaging hook, I think. Probably, or possibly, I would say. The backing track is, of course, very for its time. You can hear that it's produced in 2013 and not 2022. You can also hear that it's produced in 2013 and not 2002. So but yeah, it's very for its time. A bit surprising, I guess, that it didn't do better because of how much it fit into its own time period. But it is what it is. I think maybe the lack of a stronger hook could be a downfall that it had. And also maybe the performance really wasn't that interesting. I don't really seem to remember anything personally about the performance that really that really I managed to latch on. But there are a few performances from 2013 that in all honesty did. So I could be chatting absolute rubbish. Who knows? 2014, I think we'll pack up another solid here. There's nothing inherently wrong with this. I do like the atmosphere of it. I do like the instrumentation approach they've taken. It's harmless. It's very inviting, and I just like the whole setting of the song. And I like them as performers as well. I think it's really just enjoyable. It's there to entertain, and it doesn't really do much more than that, but it doesn't do anything less either. So a solid effort, that one, I think. Memorable hook as well. I think this is one of those that can just appear in your head when you wake up in the morning and you can't get it out for another hour. Uh, yeah, I just really think it has that tone to it. I've noticed we haven't got anything in the category below here that I like it, but so I think we're gonna put something in there now. I think the song has a lot of energy. It's really entertaining in that sense. And I think the hook is really memorable, in all honesty. I just can't see the performance live. I never want to see it. I can listen to the song and get some enjoyment to it. I think the backing track is quite strong, especially like in the verses. They're quite mysterious and suggestive, and then the chorus has this more driving approach. There's an engaging rhythm. It's intense, but also quite upbeat, and it just really hammers home kind of an upbeat feeling to me, while the verses are contrastively quite greatly more on the restrained minimalistic side, which I really like. I think the piano arrangement in the verses are also quite strong with how that works with the percussive side of things. But the performance, I can't manage to really get behind it. I think it's I always want to look away when I watch it. I I don't really know who told her to do the certain choreography moves that she decided to do. The lighting is quite cool though at times. You know, when you see it just a photo like this, you think that, oh, this is a really cool performance. But then when you see all 3 minutes of it, I'm just not really into it personally. And I think the same thing can really be said about 2016. Now, this is a shame because I really do think this song is quite strong, but this performance is so off-putting for me personally. I don't get the concept here. I don't really find any type of attachment to really have on this song. I think it just takes away all of the kind of things you want to focus about in the song. All you see is her in this odd costume and how they staged it, and you kind of lose the whole selling point that actually this song has, which is the song, because the song is quite strong. I think there's a good hook in there. I think the instrumental is well produced. It's just one of these songs that really could have worked and get at least a mid-table finish, and I think they just kind of missed that opportunity when they decided to perform it the way they did. Could just be me, could just be that I'm quite harsh, but I really do think that this song has a lot of potential and they didn't really utilize it. So yeah, we'll put that one down there. 2017, it's so difficult to say anything about this one. I think it's very underwhelming in many aspects. It's solidly produced. Doesn't really have a hook that sticks to your head though. Doesn't really have anything that sticks to my head personally. I'll be harsh and I'll put it in not for me because I don't really think there are that many redeeming qualities in it. I mean, it's still a song from 2017, and in 2017 probably most of the songs were still quite well produced, so this one doesn't really have anything over the other songs in that case. I think it's just quite underwhelming, doesn't interest me enough to really make me want to put it any higher. Sorry. But yeah, that's what you get when you stick to the formulas too much, I guess, because I think that's really what they've done here. They don't really do anything out of the ordinary here. They've gone by a formula, textbook kind of recipe for an underwhelming pop song, and that's what they got. In 2018, You Let Me Walk Alone. Fantastic. I really do think so. This one hits hard for me personally. I love watching it, especially. I think he's very down to earth and very. That comes across when you watch the performance. The lyrical content is really great, I think. It's done clever songwriting, both in terms of lyrics and in terms of instrumental. I like the instrumentation of it. It's quite, it's very singer songwriter inspired, but it has a nice collective sound of different instruments and how they work together. But I think what really makes it just work is the vocal that lies on top of it. The melody is memorable, and it grows even more memorable with how the lyrical content backs it up, and the story and the approach that they took in writing the lyrics, with the whole counting sequence and all of that, and just how personal the story of it is as well. You can tell how heartfelt the meaning of the song is, and that really comes across on stage as well. I like the layout a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. I think it's a fantastic one. I really do. Could possibly, yeah, I'll go out on a limb here and say that it's my favorite one. Yeah, I think so. 2019 Sister, it's a bit on the underwhelming side, kind of like with the 2017 effort, but I do actually get much more enjoyment out of this one. I think the chorus is much more hard hitting, well staged, like maybe not the big faces on the background, I could have been without them, but the lighting is really nice. And I do really think that the chorus has this kind of drive that maybe a song like Perfect Life is completely missing. Not really a fan of just kind of having the chorus yell out the word sister. That's, underwhelming in the sense that they haven't really found any kind of interesting melody to really utilize in the chorus, which is just, you kind of lose, like, the audience will get lost right away because you don't have anything for them to latch onto in the chorus. So that's a minus. So I'll put in I like it, but because I do still think that them on stage and how they work together is quite strong. The backing track has a strong impact to it. Just let down by the chorus, in all honesty. 2020, Violent Thing. This is upbeat. This is incredibly modern. It sounds great. Has a great hook to it. Verses are quite strong as well. It's just good. It's just good altogether. I really do think so. I was a bit, I guess you could get kind of put off by the vocals and how, what do you say, like bright they are. Uh, but it just kind of works in the soundstage as well. I really do think so. Would have been interesting to see this one being performed live because it's vocally quite. It's on the more challenging side to really get across without any effect work and any digitalization, and especially when the what do you say, the production side of things is so incredibly glossy and overglossed with kind of brightness and such in the production side of things. Um, but yeah, for a studio cut, do I think it's up in really great? I might, to be honest, but I do like the songs that I've put in really great a little more than I like this one. But I also like this one more than I like the songs that I've put in solid. So let's just be nice and put it up here because I've been quite harsh on Germany, and I'm gonna be even more harsh now when I Don't Feel Hate comes along. What happened here? Just know, a terrible idea with a terrible execution, in my opinion. The song is obnoxious. I really do think so. It's quite annoying to listen to sit through these 3 minutes. I get the whole point of the song. It's an admirable message. It really is. Um, but I don't support this approach of tackling the message because, or like of tackling the issue, because this is kind of just. I think that this one kind of showcases more that you're actually feeling the hate by going in this kind of approach because you don't do anything serious with it. And then you kind of lose me as an audience because if you don't feel hate, that's awesome. But then maybe you should try not feeling hate by actually trying. I don't really feel like that's what they're doing here. I think the performance goes along with that as well. It's just over the top silly, and the way that it's performed, no, I don't like it. And I think the song is actually a complete mess in how it's written. It's all over the place in instrumentation wise and rhythmically quite annoying, in all honesty. Yeah, no, there's nothing. And then when he starts talking in the final chorus, I just zone out. I'm tired of it. I don't want to see it ever again. No, not for me. Or it's not even a not for me. It's just a what happened here because I can't get behind this. I can definitely get behind Gildo. I feel sorry for him that he has to be placed next to this. I'm really I'm really letting all of my frustration out here. Rockstars, on the other hand, solid, not much more. I really don't think there's much more to it. Uh, I like how personal it is and how you can see that on stage as well in it how it's being performed. I don't think it's vocally very strong, but I do think the vocals are quite like you can hear the character in them, and that really comes across as well. Um, but at the same time, I just don't really latch onto the song. I think that the song doesn't really have a driving impact instrument like in the instrumental, which it really should have with the message that it has and kind of a vocal approach that it has as well. I can't really get behind this mellow backing track. It doesn't really work for me. I like how he utilizes the whole bedroom producer idea of placing out the different instruments and playing around on them on stage. A bit maybe cheesy in a sense, but at the same time, I quite like the concept of it and how you can actually visualize um, the reality of being a bedroom producer, where you put everything together yourself. It's quite nice, but you can also kind of tell that maybe you need someone to really just give you that final oomph in your song in order to compete with other songs. Maybe that's the case here. I still think it's solid because of how it's performed and how like there's a nice hook to it, I think, and there are nice songwriting ideas as well with the whole what is it? Let's pause, let's do a restart. You know, just small little details that just kind of fill out the song and gives it a little bit more purpose and life, I guess. So it's solid enough, and that is my list for Germany. Of course, these are only songs since 1993. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier on, but I can't really go go through any more songs now. I've talked about 29 of them, and that will have to do. And as you can see, Germany haven't really impressed me that greatly, which I guess is a shame. But that means that in 2023, maybe it's time for them to finally get a song up here. I will admit and say that this one is close. You Let Me Walk Alone could have been up there, but I don't really. It could be up there, but I decided not to place it there. But do tell me what you would change on my tier list. You don't really have to go through detail here on all of these songs, but do tell me what you definitely would change and you think that I did completely wrong. Or do tell me something that you think you completely agree with me on. That could be a nice a nice way, a nice thing to say as well. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. We'll be talking about Greece next, so that's exciting. Hope to see you in that one in particular, because I if you didn't know, I have quite a fondness of Greece in Eurovision and Greece in general. So hope to see you in that video. Take care of yourselves until then, and